Hello. I wanted to do this little video because I want to share kind of how I'm feeling, where I'm at. So I just have been traveling for 2 months pretty much now, and it's been absolutely amazing. I've been pretty much all over Europe. Like, that pretty much sums it up. Like, I went to Spain, I went to Denmark, I've been to all over the Netherlands. I have where else have I been? Italy, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, France, London, so UK. And now I'm about to go to Greece and Croatia because I decided to extend my trip. If people, curious, like, when I'm coming home, the answer is never. I never want to leave. I really like this place, and I think what I really like is who I've become and who I am in this place. And so I wanted to record because today I'm kind of like in an interesting mood, and I'm like feeling an interesting way where I'm feeling like sad to go home, which is like the weirdest thing because I love home, I love my family, I love my friends, but I'm really just like, I'm scared to go home. And why am I scared to go home? This is like the question, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, why do I feel this way? And the last couple of days, I got back from my busy trip, so I've been talking to my parents, and I've been calling with my mom, and calling with some of my friends, and just like chatting with them. And it's just kind of like this thing where I'm like, well, that happened. That was so amazing. I've learned and grown so much, and I have stepped into who I am, and it's just like, it's the best feeling on the world, but that high eventually has to come down, and this is me kind of coming down a little bit because I'm nervous to come back home because it's like environment plays a huge role on you. It affects you in a large way. It really does. As much as we want to say that it doesn't, it plays a huge part. It really does on how you act and who you are. And so I'm afraid to go back into my old environment because I don't want to change. I want to continue to be who I am right now. I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep moving forwards. And I've been making some like pretty big decisions that I've been like really, really, really stressed about. Before I left this trip, I was like, here's a list of all the things I'm going to leave at home. A couple of the things were like a couple issues I had with some friends. I was like, I'm gonna leave that at home because I can't control that. I can't control the situation, so it's staying at home. Another thing I wanted to leave at home because it was really stressing me out was the decision about going back to school or not next year. Because as some of you may know, I decided to take a gap year, and a gap year ultimately a deferral. I did a deferral with my school. So ultimately what that means is they hold your spot for a year. So you can take that time off to do whatever you want. And my huge big goals were to travel, to work on the podcast, to work on my YouTube channel, and to do all this kind of stuff. And so I was doing it. I've done like 80% of what I wanted to do on the gap year, but there's still that 20% of the things. Like, I really wanted to start a business, and I really wanted to give that a go. I really wanted to do that, but everything else I've pretty much been able to do, which is absolutely amazing, and I feel so grateful. And traveling to Europe has been a dream of mine for so long. And so for it to actually happen this whole time, I've been in complete bliss, so happy, on a complete high. And when I think about going home, that's when I get scared. That's when I get sad. I wasn't really scared to be here alone or scared to come here because my parents prepared me really well. They prepared me really, really well. But I was just like, I'm scared now to go home. I will say I had like a millisecond of being scared because when I was on this bus tour, there was like a day where a bunch of people asked me like, aren't you homesick? Aren't you homesick? And I'm like, no. no. And then I was like, oh wait, should I be? And so I had like a millisecond of being homesick, but that quickly faded off because I was in Rome, and Italy, and like living my best life, so it quickly disappeared. But I really I'm scared to come back home because of, what's going on. So back to what I was saying. So I had some big decisions to make, and I left some things at home because I just wanted to enjoy this time. But it's kind of hard to leave some of those things behind because there's times, right? There's time limits. So I have to make a decision about school sooner than later so I can reactivate my account or apply to something new or all those things. So I was thinking, and I talked to a couple people and like just telling people about my experience in my life, and I really realized, and I do acknowledge that this is a privilege to have this issue, whether or not I should go back to school because of a scholarship is a huge privilege that I have, and it's a problem that a lot of people would want to have, but it's still hard for me because I got the scholarship and I have 4 years to use it from the year that I graduate, and I've been in 1 year, but I didn't realize you have to be a full-time student to use it, so there's all these things, so I haven't used any of the money, and it's quite a big chunk of money, and I would never want to waste that money, but the thought of going back to school still scares me because I'm like, am I gonna get put back in that trap? So there was like that. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then I decided I was gonna decide, you know what, I need to go back to school and use this money because it is an honor and it is free education at the end of the day. So whatever I decide to do, if I only decide to do the year or the year and a half of how much money it'll give me, and then I decide I don't want to do it anymore, then that's what happens. But I'm like, there's something in me, I just can't waste that education. And like, I love learning. Like, I love learning so much. It's just like there's a layer of the institution and the way it's done that is just hard for me. And that I'm trying to break into as well, because it's like, why? Why is the institution a barrier for me? And it's like, think about my previous experiences in this school system, and then it was like, okay, that makes sense. And my therapist challenged me, and she's like, but you're different now. So what if you went back as the new Selena, and it's a completely different experience because you have changed now, and your priorities are different. So that was very helpful, and I've been thinking about it lots because I'm like, I have to kind of make a decision now, especially that I extended my trip. And so, I decided I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to try to get into psychology as well as business. Like, I'm going to try to minor in psychology with my business degree because I'm really super fascinated in psychology and the way that the human brain works and the way that we function as humans. And I've already done so much work in the personal growth area, and I am just so fascinated to learn more and the science behind it. So I'm gonna try to merge my two interests, business and psychology, but it scares me because I'm like, I don't want to stop. I was having this conversation with my sister. I'm like, I don't want to stop doing what I'm doing. I don't want to stop working for the people that I'm working for because it fills me up. I love the work I do. I don't want to stop my podcast because that is like the biggest blessing in my life and to so many others. And I don't want to stop YouTube or TikTok or Instagram and all of these things that take up so much time. Like, I could easily add school, but I would have to be a literal machine and so diligent. Oh my gosh, how do you say that? Anyways, I'd have to be really strict with my time, and that worries me because one of my biggest goals coming back home is making more time for myself and savoring the moment and going on little adventures. Sorry, the wind's picking up. And going on little adventures where I'm at and like trying to install, because I've been really trying to take notes of what's been making me happy. And I really want to apply them at home, but I'm worried that now if I like overcommit myself essentially. So that's why I'm pretty scared to come home. But there's part of me that's like, we just have to take it one step at a time. And so that's a little life update. That's how things are going. I'm finding a lot of peace right now where I am. And yeah, I don't have like an answer or anything, but I'm just like, I just wanted to come on and talk to you guys and let you know where I'm at, because it always makes me feel better. But I am nervous to come home, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I have to be really, really mindful of the way that I'm thinking about it, because when I get home, I have so many fun things planned. Like, I'm going to BC, I'm going to Phoenix, I'm going to Vancouver. I got like lots of trips coming up, and like it's gonna be so much fun, and I got all this content that I have to post, and like it's so much fun and everything's so good, and I got good things going on when I go home. But it's like a feeling inside of me that I'm like trying to discover why I'm feeling that way, because I'm just having the most amazing time here, and I love who I am here, and it's not even that I'm a different person, but like I'm still Selena, but it's kind of like a layer of skin has been shedded, and I've started to develop a new shell, because I was really, 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 really struggling for the last couple of months before I left this trip, and I was actively going to therapy. And right before I went on this trip, I had a huge breakthrough, because originally, you go to Europe, you're like trying to find yourself, but what had happened to me, and that's why I believe everything happens for a reason and at the perfect time, which is like very hard, because I still challenge that belief, but I do believe it more now, because I had a breakthrough a little bit more than a week before I came on this trip, that really, really, really helped me. And so I was no longer running away from problems or running away from things. I was healing. I was in the middle of the healing and coming, I was making it through. And so everything happened at a perfect time. I had a breakthrough, and then I came here, and I've been able to put into practice what I've learned. I think that's the biggest thing, and just really observe and listen, and just, it's been amazing. And so I love who I am. I'm very happy, but I'm kind of in this state right now where I'm just like, I don't want to come home. And I know that might be hard to hear for my family, but and it's nothing to do with them. It's all to do with me and who I am here. And I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep moving forward. And so we'll see what happens. But that's all I have for today. This has been a little bit of an intimate YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like these kind of like chats that I do sometimes, let me know, because I love chatting to you guys. And if you guys are in the middle of dealing with something, like, you're not alone. Just because I'm showing you all these amazing things I'm doing doesn't mean I have bad days still, or I struggle mentally with different things, which I do. But it's like I'm really choosing where I put my energy, and really watching how I think, and not letting that affect me as much as it used to. So that is it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you later. Have a great, great, great day,